The crisp air of the Rockies always held a particular kind of silence, a vast quiet that amplifies the whisper of the wind through ancient pines and the distant rumble of a cascading river. For a wildlife photographer like me, Mark, it's not just a landscape, it's a living, breathing studio, a cathedral where patience is the only true virtue. My mornings began before dawn, my gear packed meticulously, my mind already attuned to the subtle shifts in the wilderness around me. On this particular Tuesday, a few months ago now, I was deep in a less traveled valley, hoping for a glimpse of the elusive grizzly sows with their cubs. I'd set up my blind near a salmon-rich stream, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and pine needles. Hours passed, marked only by the shifting sunlight filtering through the canopy and the persistent hum of insects. It's in these moments of quiet observation that you truly feel connected to something larger than yourself. Then he emerged, not a sow, but a magnificent male grizzly, immense and powerful, stepping out from a thicket of willows as if from a dream. He moved with an effortless grace that belied his size, his fur a rich tapestry of browns and golds, shimmering in the dappled light. My heart, as it always does in these moments, quickened. This was the shot, the one you wait for. I raised my camera, the telephoto lens finding him instantly, perfectly framed. He dipped his head to the stream, snatching a salmon with a swift, practiced motion. I clicked, the shutter a soft murmur in the vast quiet. And then he looked up, directly at me. It wasn't the usual wary glance of a wild animal, not the startled, defensive stare. It was something else entirely. His eyes, set in that massive primal face, seemed to hold a profound, unsettling intelligence. They weren't the dark, opaque eyes I was accustomed to. They were a lighter amber, almost golden, and there was a depth to them that felt human. They weren't just observing, they were seeing me, perhaps even seeing into me. For a long moment, time seemed to dissolve, and it was just us, predator and observer, locked in an impossible gaze. I felt a prickle of unease, a cold sensation that traced its way up my spine, but I held my breath, held the shot. Another click. And then, as silently as he had appeared, he turned and melted back into the shadows of the forest. I lowered my camera, my hands trembling slightly, not from the cold, but from an unfamiliar jolt of something akin to fear, or perhaps wonder. The wilderness had always felt like a domain I could navigate, understand. But this encounter, those eyes, suggested a layer of mystery I hadn't yet touched. The hike back to my truck felt different. The familiar sounds of the forest now seemed to hold a new, unsettling resonance. Every snapping twig, every rustle in the undergrowth made me pause, made me look over my shoulder. It was an irrational feeling, I told myself, just the lingering adrenaline from an extraordinary encounter. Wildlife photography often comes with these moments, these heightened awareness, these close encounters that leave you buzzing. I tried to dismiss the lingering unease, focusing instead on the incredible shot I was sure I had captured. A grizzly with eyes that spoke. What a story that would make. Back at my cabin, the day's fading light cast long shadows across my workspace. I was tired, but the anticipation of seeing the photos buoyed my spirits. I gently removed the memory card from my camera and inserted it into my laptop. The folder opened, displaying thumbnails. I scrolled, my heart giving a little flutter as I saw it, the shot. The bear, head up, those golden, impossible eyes staring directly into the lens. It was even more powerful than I remembered. The details were exquisite, the intensity palpable. But then, as I continued to scroll, my brow furrowed. There were more photos than I recalled taking. Many more, hundreds in fact. My finger hovered over the trackpad, a growing sense of confusion, then dread beginning to unfurl within me. These weren't my usual landscape shots or even incidental wildlife captures. these were different. I clicked on the first one. It was a picture of my backpack leaning against the base of a tall spruce, taken from a low angle, obscured by a cluster of ferns. My very first thought was a fleeting moment of self-doubt. Had I accidentally left my camera on, perhaps dropped it? But the focus was sharp, the composition deliberate. I clicked to the next. It was a shot of my own muddy hiking boots, partially hidden behind a fallen log, looking out onto a small clearing I'd walked through that morning. And then the next, and the next. My breath hitched in my throat as the realization, cold and undeniable, began to set in. These were photographs of me, or rather of my presence. My gear, my back as I knelt by the stream for a drink, my head silhouetted against the morning sky as I scanned the horizon. They were all taken from the perspective of someone, or something, hidden just out of sight. From behind trees I had passed, from within dense thickets I had skirted, from the very spots I had just been. There was even one taken just minutes before the grizzly appeared, a blurred shot of my own hand adjusting my lens, framed by the undergrowth as if peeking through a gap in the foliage. The last few photos in the sequence were the most chilling. They were taken from deep within the willow thicket, the very spot the bear had emerged from. They showed my blind, my camera lens glinting in the distance, a silent, unblinking eye pointed directly at my position. My own camera, inexplicably, held the gaze of a hidden observer. How could this be? My camera had never left my possession. The memory card had been in it the entire time. There was no logical explanation for these images to exist, let alone to be on my card. My mind raced, searching for any rational solution, any trick of light or lapse in memory, but there was none. The only thing I could connect this impossible event to was that moment, that impossible stare from those human-like eyes. I spent the rest of the night in a state of quiet terror, the lights in my cabin blazing, the curtains drawn tight. I didn't know what I had encountered or what the implications were. Had the bear somehow used my own camera? Was it a warning, a message, or something far more ancient and incomprehensible? I haven't been back to that valley since. The wilderness, which had always felt like a place of comfort and profound beauty, now holds a new, unsettling aura for me. It's not just the unknown that frightens me anymore, but the dawning realization that perhaps, in the vast tapestry of nature, we are not always the sole observers. Sometimes, just perhaps, we are the ones being watched. Our every move cataloged by eyes that hold a wisdom and a power far beyond our understanding. This experience has fundamentally shifted my perspective, reminding me that even in the most familiar settings, the world can reveal layers of mystery we never dreamed existed. And sometimes, the most profound insights come from the most terrifying encounters. Thank you for listening to my story. I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts on this or any unusual encounters you've had that defied explanation. Please feel free to share your experiences in the comments below. And if you found this story thought-provoking, consider subscribing or following for more reflections on the hidden depths of our world. Until next time, stay curious and perhaps keep an eye on your own camera. You never know who might be looking through the lens.